Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to PAC 416, Politics and Administration. I am Christine Joy B. Mentalaban, together with my co-presenter, Ms. Honey Grace Amancio. And now, let's talk about the topic entitled Electoral and Party Politics in Prewar, Philippines. Let me read first the learning objectives. So at this end of this lesson, we are able to gain a basic knowledge of the evolution and institutionalization of the conduct of elections and the behavior of political parties in the Philippines, with specific emphasis on the period from 1900s until the outbreak of the Second World War. Appreciate how party organizations began and under what conditions they are able to maintain their dominance in the Philippines. Explain how elections and political parties have transformed the overall national and local political landscape of the country during the period. Okay, let's begin with the introduction. From the start of American colonial rule in the Philippines in 1899 until the period preceding the declaration of martial law, political parties and elections had become fundamental aspects of the country's political landscape. Party leaders are more interested in achieving electoral tactical success rather than the espousal of pursuit of doctrinal or ideological ends and concerns. So, electoral and party politics in Prewar, Philippines, referring to the period before World War II when the Philippines was under American colonial rule and marked by significant developments and challenges. So, this period witnessed the formation of political parties, the regular conduct of elections, and the gradual transition towards greater autonomy and eventual independence from American colonial rule. Next is the birth of party and electoral politics. By the end of Spanish occupation, the goal of independence was deeply emphasized in the program of the revolutionary government under Emilio Aguinaldo. Revolutionary government created a negotiating committee tasked to offer terms and conditions between Filipinos and American troops, securing a peace agreement between U.S. and Philippines that was, in the words of Apolinario Mabini, worthy and honorable, because it was based on the premise that the Philippines would eventually be granted autonomy by the United States. A second committee was created and dispatched, but the Americans insisted the surrender of Filipino fighters. Some Filipino realized the importance of having a political organization to gain support from the new colonizers. In December 1900, a group of upper-class Filipinos led by Trinidad Pardo de Tavera established the Federal Party. So, Federal Party whose platform was anchored on seeking peace with the United States. So, the party became more prominent due to anti-sedition law passed on November 1901 by the Philippine Commission. So, anti-sedition law, the law which punishes those persons who advocate independence or separation from U.S. sovereignty even by peaceful means. The establishment of political parties in pre-war Philippines was influenced by American colonial policies and desire for self-governance. The Democratic Party and Nationalist Party kay mauna sila ang pinakauna na political organizations na na-emerge during the time. Democratic Party was founded in 1900 while the Nacionalista or Nationalist Party established in 1907. As the pre-war period unfolded, ang party politics kaya naga-continue sa siyang evolve. And it was during that time, the principles of party politics, electoral competition, and representative democracy began to take root in shaping the nation's political system for the decades to come. Aside the ISA Democratic Party and Nationalista Party, there are several other party formations and political movements emerged in the early 1900s in the Philippines. So these are the other party formations in the early 1900s. Prior to 1907, there were attempts to establish parties to challenge social and political supremacy of the Federal Party and establish opposition and alternative. As early as 1901 to 1902, the Partido Nacionalista or Nationalist Party and the Union Obrera or Labor Union were organized and sought recognition from American authorities. In 1902, the Partido Conservador or Conservative Party was established. Another group of Filipinos led by Sergio Osmeña, unwilling to accept the idea of eventual and permanent American sovereignty over the islands, sought recognition for their Partido Demokrata or Democratic Party. The next one is the end of insurrection and the emergence of political opposition. Sherman Commission recommended a proposal for the Philippines to be granted a self-government at some future time, exalted in the U.S. Congressional Act of 1902 of Philippine Bill 1902, called for a creation of Philippine Assembly whose members are elected by the Filipinos as soon as peace and order has been established in the country. The Assembly served as a kind of check on the powers exercised by the Philippine Commission, whose members were all appointed by the President of U.S. and largely composed of Americans. Provide two residence commissioners who were given non-voting seats in the House and the U.S. House of Representatives, eventual independence but without rejecting U.S. sovereignty. The end of insurrection and the emergence of political opposition in Prewar, Philippines were intrinsically tied to the evolving electoral and party politics of the era. As opposition parties grew in influence, they played a crucial role in shaping the path toward greater self-determination and an eventual independence for the Philippines. So the purpose of this is that the transition from violent conflict to peaceful political discourse, allowing for the diverse viewpoints and ideas to be represented within the democratic system. So it fosters reconciliation, negotiation, and more inclusive government. The Federalistas reinvent themselves, change its platform from one annexation to one that calls for gradual independence for the Philippines under American sovereignty. Change its name to Partido Nacional Progresista or National Progressive Party. Due to the relaxation of anti-sedition law, it was no longer a crime to call for independence. Several partisan and pro-independence groups re-emerge. So the reason why Federalistas may reinvent themselves is to adapt to changing circumstances, broaden their appeal, or respond to challenges, ultimately striving to advance their goals and ideals in political arena. The advent of two-party politics, Philippine style. July 30, 1907, elections for members of First Philippine Assembly. 1908, the emergence of the two-party system, the Nationalist Party over the Progressive Party. In 1912, cracks had begun to show in the Nationalist Party, where the third party has established known as National Democratic Party. The advent of two-party politics in pre-war Philippines centered around the dominance of the Nacionalista Party and the emergence of the Partido Demokrata. This transition was driven by electoral competition and evolving political ideologies, so it offered voters clear choices and contributed to the country's political stability and playing a crucial role in shaping the path toward Philippine independence and political maturity. The Nacionalistas never wanted immediate independence, so in early 1916, Senator Clark from Arkansas introduced an amendment to an original draft bill by Congressman Jones of Virginia, which established a specific timeline for granting the independence. So elections of the members of the First Philippine Senate, which was mandated by the Jones Law or the Philippine Organic Act of 1916. After 1916, the Assembly effectively became House of Representatives. On April 22, 1917, Fusion formed Third or Fusion Party, namely Democratic from the two parties National Democratic and Progressive Party. The Nacionalista Party in the Philippines did not advocate for immediate independence during the early 20th century. Instead, they supported a more gradual approach to self-governance and autonomy from American colonial rule. Leaders of the party, such as Manuel L. Quezon, sought to work within the framework of American colonial governance to secure greater political and economic rights for Filipinos while maintaining a relationship with the United States. The last one is the state of an emergent Philippine electorate. Due to, due to the gender literacy and property requirements of electors in the pre-1935 period, the number of voters was distinctly limited compared to the overall population at that time. Liang observed that people were more interested in local rather than national affairs. In the elections of 1919, the Democratic Party was once again severely defeated. The question arose as to who should actually lead the government. Is it the party in the power or someone popularity elected by the people? So the pre-war Philippine electorate witnessed significant changes in electoral and party politics. As the nation transitioned to greater self-governance, there was a growing desire for political participations. So the emergence of opposition parties like the Liberal Party provided voters with alternative choices, encouraging a more engaged and informed electorate. Educational initiatives also played a role in raising political awareness, and these developments laid the foundation for a more mature and politically conscious electorate that influenced the country's path toward independence. And that ends of my topic. So may I call on Miss Honey Grace Amancio to continue the discussion. Thank you for listening and God bless everyone.